riveting, right?
In today's world, true craftsmen are becoming scarcer as society seems to have forgotten the importance of skilled labor. I'm determined to prove that the trades are in fact alive and well by finding the next generation of artisans, craftsmen, and trade workers that are doing their part to keep the phrase American made in this country's vocabulary. I'm Tay Whiteside, and this is Behind the Craft. After driving down historic Shenandoah Avenue here in our hometown of Roanoke, Virginia, the crew and I find ourselves right next to the Norfolk and Western Railway at a small shop called Heart and Spade Forge. This humble shop is run by my friend Jed Curtis, who traded in his life of teaching high school chemistry to pursue blacksmithing as a full-time gig. I've seen some of Jed's work being sold at stores around the area, and I wanted to get the full story on his love of shaping molten steel.
My name is Jed Curtis. I am an artisan blacksmith, and we're in the heaviest room in the world, otherwise known as my workshop. Heart and Spade Forge is the official name. I call it Nirvana. Professionally, I'm a chemist. I have a bachelor's of science in chemistry from Roanoke College, and actually used that and taught high school chemistry for a couple of years before actually jumping full time into this venture. But I've been doing this forever, and kind of the collection or obsession was started as a young child, 5 or 6. I think I got my first hammer when I was 4. For whatever reason, you give a child, a 4-year-old a hammer. And then I got my first anvil when I was 6. And so this has kind of always been in the background. I mean, it's always kind of been part of who I was and what my interest was. I technically am completely self-taught. I've never taken any organized class or apprenticed under anyone. Someone told me, and I kind of can attest to this, is it takes about 10 years to figure out if blacksmithing, fits. Because you're not gonna learn it in a year. I'm still learning things now. I really don't think I'm gonna even ever perfect, the craft. And because it's such a athletic endeavor, it's not just creative, it's not just understanding the fundamentals. The metal becomes a record of change and a record of your effort put into it. What brought me into cookware was, a combination of probably divine intervention with pure luck. I was standing in Target looking at it. We wanted a bigger cast iron skillet, and I picked it up, and it has that stupid stubby handle. It's heavy, it's off balance, the finish sucks. It's like cooking on a gravel road. It's awful. So, and I'm sitting there thinking, I make things out of metal, as every day. I could do better than this, so I made kind of my first skillet, and it performed just beyond my wildest expectations. I make primarily skillets. They're the number one, and then I also make I call it a baker. I've also moved into griddles. Recently, I'm gone into utensils, spatulas, bacon presses.
So, can I help you with anything at all?
I mean,
Other than what? I have a hard time watching
some experience
people work.
welding, so we figured, we'll try another alternative to attaching steel,
Right.
Or fastening it. And this is kind of an old way, but tried and true. I mean, these rivets hold together. There's still steam engines that are 100 years old that are still, held together through hot riveting.
So because you're hot riveting, it's going to shrink and really.
You're not, yeah. So you get you're forming two heads, just like a nut and a bolt would. But the difference between a rivet and a bolt is all the volume within the fastening is occupied by the rivet.
This is a baker?
This is a big griddle. This is one of the larger pieces, and kind of heavier too. So it still needs to be polished and everything, but this is
I could just see like Sunday breakfast was such a big deal. I might like bacon, eggs, onions. Yeah.
Oh yeah. how it kind of pulled in on me a little bit. So that's why you got to be real. This is one of the harder parts of actually riveting.
Yeah.
Because you got to go straight down and set that rivet kind of flush-ish.
Because the meat of it's still right in the center.
You want it to be. If it gets offset, you can get leaks and stuff down the road. It's not as structurally sound as I like it to be. So yeah, that's it.
It became immediately apparent to me that there's a very fine line here of getting hot enough but getting too hot.
Yeah.
And it was that's the window that I didn't know where it was. So I was like, I'm glad you took it to make it happen. So I was like,
well, and that's the nice thing about carbon steel too, is it's I kind of consider it a very viscous liquid.
Yeah, if you work with it enough, it does start to feel like a clay.
Well, and that's when you achieve that level of control too.
Well, cool, man. Thanks for letting me mess something up.
Yeah. That's what's great about this. You get very good at hiding your mistakes.
Right. Yeah, or someone else's mistake.
There it is. Mine is forged carbon steel, and so mine are forged to shape. You're actually manipulating the grain structure and reducing those individual grains in the metallic crystal that will increase the mechanical properties of the material. I told someone you could run over one with a truck and you'd break the truck. And it's overbuilt, but that's what I'm proud of. And it's beyond that. It's because it's forged, you don't have to use as much material, so it's lighter. Because it's lighter, you're able to control the heat easier. If a cast iron it takes forever to get to temperature, and then you're done cooking, and and you turn the heat off, it'll continue to cook for 10 minutes. In my opinion, it's a perfect combination of craft, function, application of science, how the seasoning works in there, how the heat transfers through it, how does food cook? You're making a tool at the end of the day. How best can you suit the needs of those that will be using it? I want to listen to what they want, how do they use it, do they like it, how does the handle feel? I want that handle to kind of reach out and give you a handshake.
Well, Jed, all this talk about skillets and cookware, I was hoping we could cook some lunch.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I want to see how a blacksmith makes burgers, though.
I don't know about that. I'll make the skillet, you make the burger.
Okay, that is a more than fair trade. We got 90% lean Angus.
Oh yeah.
Help the figure.
Yeah,
You don't get enough exercise, I know.
It's that left arm that needs it. You are going to cook different than I am, different than the sous chef, different than the guy who really likes fish. It becomes a living thing. It ages, it doesn't age, it enhances, it improves with use. What in our modern world does that? Our iPhones die a little bit more each time we charge them. Our cars are no good once we drive them off the lot. But these skillets are built to last centuries. And are gonna be better tomorrow than they are today. And it's so exciting to see that. It's exciting to see what people are creating with this and to see how their skillet has become a reflection of them and become almost a living thing that has its own soul, its own personality. It's a legacy. This is something that's going to last well beyond my lifetime. That's the one thing everyone wants to inherit from the grandparents is the family skillet. And, it's in the fact that I'm making these, kind of one at a time for specific families and getting them engraved and getting wedding gifts with, their initials or names engraved into it with a date. I mean, that's something special. It's not just an H&S skillet. It's granddad's skillet, or it's grandma's skillet. This is a bit much, but I'm granting people immortality. And the fact that it, is hopefully inspiring. It sits there on the stove, and you look at it and you just want to cook something good.
I hate to say it, but I sort of get why some people might just hang them on the wall.
Oh yeah, totally. Hell, you see all mine on the wall.
But it defies all the science behind it just to hang it on the wall. But at the same time, you should take that at least as some sort of compliment that it's like, it is a work of art.
It is. I really want to keep this my creation. I love the fact that I look at any of my work and I know every line on there was created by my hands. I know that's selfish of me, but I value that. I really feel like that's an important part of my story. It's fascinating, it's hard, it's frustrating, it's one of those things that it's gonna test your patience and everything, but when things go out and they leave the door, it's the best product that I'm proud to put my name behind.